Sonic doesn't just run at the speed of sound. He's outrun black holes, restored time and space, and tapped into powers that even the games barely explain. Let's talk about those powers. Everyone already knows that Sonic the Hedgehog is the fastest thing alive. With one of his more recent successes being slightly outrunning the Flash, I would say that calling Sonic fast is an understatement. But because Sonic the Hedgehog is so fast, it outshines all of his other abilities that I think deserve some recognition. One of my personal favorite moments in the Sonic the Hedgehog series is when he used the fake Chaos Emerald in Sonic Adventure 2. To this day, Sonic is the only character in the entire series to cause Chaos Control with a fake emerald. And if you think that's impressive, this was the first time Sonic ever used Chaos Control. Needless to say, Sonic the Hedgehog is just built different. So today I want to talk about just a few moves that Sonic the Hedgehog has in his arsenal that you may not have known about. The list I present to you will get more and more obscure as it goes on, and if you know all these abilities, make sure you put the cookie emoji in the comment section down below, that way I know you're a true, hardcore Sonic fan. One last thing that I wanted to mention is that this video will be exclusive to Game Sonic, so I don't want to talk about anything related to Archie Sonic or anything that really isn't canon or too far out of the realm of canon. As much as I want to talk about the fact how Sonic has intangibility in the Archie comics, I'm just not going to do it. But without further ado, let's start off this list talking about a few of Sonic's wind abilities. During the mid to late 2000s and early 2010s era, Sonic was known as a character who always used wind abilities. There was even a Crush 40 song released in 2009 called Night of the Wind for Sonic and the Black Knight. Even in the opening for Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic uses a move that looks incredibly familiar to knock a bunch of enemies back. This move is called Sonic Wind, and we see that happen in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. While the move illustrated in the Sonic and the Black Knight opening isn't exactly Sonic Wind, it's probably the closest thing we've gotten to it in a long while, considering Sonic Wind is really only ever featured in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Sonic Wind essentially requires Sonic to create this blue wind vortex. In other words, he's basically creating a blue tornado. This happens because Sonic is essentially running around his enemy incredibly fast, causing a wind current. Sonic uses a similar ability in Sonic Heroes called Blue Tornado, but the difference between this move and the other move is that not only is Sonic in a team when he uses this move, but he's also in his spin dash ball form. This move is even shown in the IDW comics. Really breaking away here from the Sonic Wind and Tornado moves, we've also got Insta Shield, which is used in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The move actually shows up in quite a few games, and it's essentially like a double jump for Sonic, but not really. With this move, Sonic can basically create something of a wind shield to block enemy projectiles and also just cause damage. Now the name Insta Shield is really only ever used in Sonic 3, but you might see it in later games known as the Spin Attack or something along those lines. Moving on from our wind abilities, let's talk about all the different ways Sonic can sense danger. Now this danger sense, spider sense, or I guess hedgehog sense, dates back to as early as Sonic CD. In the opening for Sonic CD, if you look really quickly, and I have to slow down the footage here, Sonic sneezes before all these rocks fall down on him. This sneeze was to alert him that these rocks were going to fall on him. It's a real blink and you'll miss it kind of moment, however, there is also tons of art that just features Sonic sneezing, and it's in reference to this exact scene. Sega even made sprites for Sonic CD that included this animation of Sonic sneezing, but were ultimately scrapped. For a while there, that seemed like the only place we'd ever seen Sonic have that kind of danger sense power. However, it was reintroduced in Sonic and the Secret Rings with tingling quills. In the level Dinosaur Jungle, before getting attacked by a dinosaur, Sonic says this. Outside of that though, that seems to be the only time Sonic really references the danger sense again, until Sonic Frontiers. Now if you ask me, I think Sonic Frontiers did a great job with Sonic's moveset. It made him into a character again that was capable of doing so many different things outside of just boosting into his enemies. But speaking specifically on Sonic's danger sense here, whenever Sonic is near an enemy in the game, this white line will appear above his head. And whenever that enemy gets ready to attack, that white line begins to get a little chaotic and zigzaggy. This not only functions as Sonic's danger sense, but also as a way for the player to know that they're about to get hit. This is the first time we've seen danger sense implemented in a way like this, where the player is able to actually be alerted. Stepping away from Sonic games themselves for a second, let's take a look at Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Many of the moves for Sonic in this game actually come from Sonic the Fighters, and to be honest with you, they feel very outdated. Even without the release of Sonic Frontiers, I would argue that Sonic's moveset could have been a lot different than what we see here in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Brawl, and 4. It's honestly not a great moveset, and I made an entire video talking about how I would rework it using the moves found in Sonic Frontiers. You should definitely go check it out after you leave a like and subscribe on this video, and also turn on the post notifications bell, that way you never miss a video from me. Okay, moving on. So Sonic has a really interesting move in this game that he uses when doing his up throw. Sonic grabs the enemy in front of him, throws them on his back, and uses his spines to sharpen them like needles to thrust them upwards. It's an interesting move, and one that I don't believe Sonic has ever done before, but it makes him feel more akin to that of an actual hedgehog. Whenever a hedgehog feels threatened, it raises its quills upright to basically just stab at whatever comes near it. This is essentially what Sonic the Hedgehog is doing here. Going back to Sonic the Hedgehog games here for a second, let's look back at Sonic Adventure 2. In this game, Sonic eventually unlocks an ability called Fire Somersault. Earlier in the game, Sonic's able to just roll around in a ball to basically knock down crates, and that is his somersault. However, after obtaining the Flame Ring, Sonic is able to engulf himself in a ball of fire, leaving a trail of fire behind him. However, the fire actually doesn't really do anything, it just makes him a little stronger. Honestly, this whole power just kind of seems like a missed opportunity, because Sonic is literally using the power of fire. Imagine using fire and wind to your advantage. Just nothing here. I will say though, it does look really cool. This next move, also coming from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, I will admit is kind of cherry picking, but it is insane how he and other characters in this game can do this. In the battle mode of SA2, Sonic's able to use this move called Time Stop after collecting 60 rings. Now what makes this ability just so special is the fact that Sonic's not using the power of any Chaos Emerald, as we don't see any in sight. For about 10 seconds, Sonic is able to actually stop the opposing player entirely. Now the reason why I say it's cherry picking is because Sonic never actually does this in the story, or is it actually part of the Sonic lore. But the fact that he was able to do this at all, I think is worth talking about at least a little bit. Also, if anyone ever wants to get into some Sonic the Hedgehog power scaling debates, I would say why not use this one in your advantage. This last move that I present to you might be the most obscure in Sonic the Hedgehog's entire arsenal, and once again we're looking at Sonic Adventure 2. Introducing, ladies and gentlemen, the Magic Hands. Now in my opinion, this might be one of the most overpowered things that Sonic has ever done in the games. It doesn't seem as if this item actually has any limitations either, it just does what it does. And let me tell you exactly what that does is. Does that make any sense? With the power of the Magic Hands, if Sonic is standing close to an enemy, he can just shrink them down into this transparent ball and then just throw them. Like many of the other powers we discussed in this video, Sonic can only use this ability if he has a certain upgrade, known as the Magic Gloves. Not only is it insanely powerful, but it requires virtually no effort, and while it might not be as fun in a gameplay perspective because it actually ends up slowing Sonic down, it is incredibly easy to use, and I can imagine from a power scaling standpoint, this just makes Sonic all the more unstoppable. But having said that, those are all of the secret or hidden powers that you may not have known about Sonic the Hedgehog. Let me know your favorite in the comment section down below, and also comment that cookie emoji if, again, you knew all of these. And too, if there was a power that I didn't cover that you were like, oh my gosh, this is so obscure, he needs to mention this, let me know that in the comment section down below too. I need to know more of Sonic's crazy powers. But having that being said and done, thank you all so much for watching. This is your boy Sonic signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?